Hello, old Saybrook. There's a Casper family, and there's a Daly family, and there's a Mark Violet, Mike Violet, and there's a CM Faglione family involved with racketeering with various natures of judges in courts with buildings owners and uses of those locations on off campuses for racketeering method and criminal uses of the identities of the branches, including Congress, including on off the state judicial branch offices, including on off the state prison offices. Now, these are other roles with natures of gun crimes, also with the Blue Trails firing range, recorded and confessed involved with racketeering, also with Newington Gun Exchange, with the Kerr family, involved also with Officer Jerry Miller and other officers recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with houses in my area involved with them with racketeering with family members, interbranch, in military and foreign, also with overt criminal enterprises, uses of what the overt criminal witness protection program, also with them with evidence racketeering, database racketeering, and uses of recorded live progressions from that, and or also standing needs for them to hurt each lie every time I speak. Since I was in grammar school, since I was in each, I'll leave out Montessori school was a good school, but the campuses next to the school I went after that, all the campuses in Weathersfield have next to them, on off them, maintain racketeering uses of their databases, racketeering uses of crime methods bonded tied to that. Now they pretend when people respond to this that it's involving differences between them and other people that are natural, but these are actually interbranch and foreign and private in collusion also with overt criminal enterprises originally and still. And this is a recorded affected fact. This is an affect as their fact treatment nature styles in relationship to nature's um, self-generation, which is actually recorded science. See, we have the sciences of psychology, recorded delusions wrought and criminally foreign influence through racketeering, leading us that led us into World War I, that led us into World War II, Vietnam, etc. Now they have the needs to make agreements to end the negative value nature progression that is only capable of being, because then you have to defend undercover and all these things with nuclear weapons. Yeah, and that is maintenance to needs to counter and check each other. So that needs to value systems already criminally foreign influence and exploited other ways like that. So we have a Casper family also. I never had a conversation with a Casper family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with all these medical racketeering families, foreign and domestic, involved with the racketeering roles and uses of a house slash S in my area with the new and past uh, police chief from my town, and with retired and standing detectives involved with them crimes with sexual natures and other natures, intercities with each age of fact treatment nature. These are also prison cliques of each age of fact treatment nature and their family members involved with racketeering, identity thefts, and behavioral crimes as courts. Now they're preventing mandated law here too, the courts, because they're also racketeering with the forging names, switching names officers, as same racketeering methods with the courts. So not only they are incapable of taking cases every day, originally and still, but they're already invested to roles with racketeering with the cases that already came through New Britain Court, Perry Court, since before the people that are now involved with it criminally were kids involved with racketeering tied to it. This is also confessions out of sequence. So they're not going to make sense, but the person's going to know them in their experience tied to their roles with interbranch roles, with confessing, demonstrating, recording how they have racketeering roles with overt criminal enterprises and with crime methods where they have people say things out of where they know you're going to be walking. So they time, like for example, they time confessions, demonstrations, and recorded people involved with the identity racketeering. In other words, people pretending they knew you from contacts before that, and preventing names. And this is involved with database racketeering. Now, there was also a Newington gun exchange involved with Alonza family, with judges involved with gun racketeering, also with other gun spots, and with Weathersfield police involved with that, and with a shooting range on off a place associated with the Nielsen family that a Bryant family that demonstrated was tied to their roles with confessions involved with racketeering at CCSU's campuses departments with a whole bunch of people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated when I was in middle school, tied to live aggression cover-ups, tied to racketeering with them, also with a Gold family and with an Abruzzi family and with my new neighbors' friends and extended relatives from my great age group. Now, all the exceptions I knew them in were them using that, but to pretend we were friends. When I only know them from them making confessions, seeking me out to make confessions and recorded racketeering with evidences acts roles with mail crimes and wire crimes. They also have this tied to. They put me in a summer school class at a grammar school in Weathersfield. They call it the Pearl of Weathersfield. That was recorded with a Hanson family with her one of her boyfriends at the time that were shared, associated with my new and past neighbors. With them recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering. Then that is tied now to further racketeering with the Britain Superior Court through time with child sex offenders, even uses of Facebook. It's all recorded. They're lying about what's actually recorded. Now, these are uses of other online platforms with the racketeering uses of Facebook for sexual and medical crimes by the Britain Superior Court, by Hartford courts, by people with medical racketeering who confessed and recorded uh, um, through time that a Casper family pretended to be the fake conversations with them, fake ties to them, and roles with their sequence racketeering. In other words, also recorded, confessed with a whole bunch of people on and off Fox Connecticut News in the buildings next to them, involved with medical racketeering of a whole bunch of natures. With they're using medical racketeering for fact cheating nature racketeering, where they're prevented voices and using time two ways, always too fast, too slow, and they have a crime method recorded consciously used to force the wrong outcomes in cases originally and still. We don't have one standing prosecutor worth a cent. We don't have one standing judge worth a cent, whereas it counts. And they're pretending they're valuable in relationship to money. Of value nature systems, tactically ulterior from our identities. These are identity racketeering natures and styles of liars that are pretending they're positive simultaneously. You can't defend that and tell Americans history, which is about why and how they are that. Now, I never had a conversation with this Mike Dale in my life, who's also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, involved with identity theft, forging names, sequence shift names, and racketeering with Old Saybrook, with a whole bunch of people tied to this Casper family, and with downtown Hartford. Also, as ones involved with racketeering with the clubs in on and off Yale College. These are also people involved with racketeering with each age and nature of campuses, even ones unconnected and people unconnected to them, maintained, facilitated, maintained, used for the same natures of racketeering. A whole bunch of people on and off Trinity College are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with state police and with FBI and CIA and with military, foreign and domestic, other foreign and domestic, with a Zano family. Also, further with medical racketeering with foreign and domestic on and off the Miss Austin Middle School, as people also further racketeering on and off the high school. Also, racketeering roles with people that live around all the other schools and campuses, tied by drug cliques that are involved with racketeering too, that are tied to my neighbors that use for racketeering. Also, with that, with co-defendants, a former director of the FBI, also recorded and confessed and demonstrated with racketeering with his friends and family members and his sisters. Also married to in other words, the Ray Cololo, and associated also with a cousin named Phil Cololo, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by people by themselves and people associated with forensic spots and body dumping spots, legal and criminal, involved with them with racketeering through time, with a Phil Cololo, and with sexual circles associated with the Britain Superior Court and other courts that are involved with racketeering with that, where they made confessions about that. Like people will be too embarrassed to say what they said, and then they use that to attach people to fake locations and fake natures of relationships to themselves. And they're also hiding how they forge names, switching names. Now, these are also a whole bunch of natures of racketeering with guns, tied to how they use it. In other words, people involved with it now criminally also had their families involved with demonstrating how they were anticipating the prices of the guns going up because of the legislation regarding it. But that legislation, and again, the identity of the ground of the Congress and on off of it, like the other branches of governments, various natures of the same courts and other natures of courts, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with recorded racketeering methods recorded. Now, mandated law pretended to mean other than it does, with people pretending that titles mean other than they did, was also recorded. They're also recorded involved with racketeering uses of um, the level of integrity they apply to each person's what they say. That, in other words, how to interpret if they're telling the truth or not, but based on the person's job instead of on civil rights actual. See, we have a racketeering method here. We have a whole bunch of natures of medical and of identity mail crime. We have a whole, also a whole bunch of people with a woman with the FBI in New Haven and intercities are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated further involved with the on-off Fox Connecticut News racketeering, where they have the men that raised attaching me to fake locations, fake with the areas and with wire crime methods, mail crime methods, and roles. All natures of, see, they have judges involved with real estate crimes because they need to hide lipoaggressions. They need to lie when I speak. So what they did was involve themselves with my new and past neighbors, leading up to that and since they're involved with a Dillon family with other real estate agencies, intercities involved with sexual circles, involved with child trafficking, with foreign and domestic nations, shared policing on off campuses like CCSU that is worse than worthless originally and still. See, we need free speech real fast, and we need it on time. The branches of Connecticut are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated also racketeering, identity thefts, attaching me and others to fake locations with WFSB. Also with their natures of gun crimes juxtaposed, natures of gun crimes, not just the economic and uses of that to pretend passions and emotions, while they have their formal gun crimes. Now note that how they're justifying people who are shooting civilians with guns who are already involved with racketeering, forging names, switching names, racketeering acts, which are reportedly 10 years minimum in jail. These are serious natures of crime, way worse than that, all juxtaposed. And then, let alone that they have that involved with and as child sex offenders, racketeering roles, and with women uses of women interbranch recorded sick, because everyone's speaking through others, and the men that are involved with their sexual circles were raised and enabled to get over on girls in relationship to time database racket. In other words, the distances from databases when you're going to walk through a door, that was used criminally by the people with DACA involved further with the racketeering acts on off Trinity College, on off CCSU connected, also connected as the ones intercities with the campuses of each age in my town. Now, I think it's a valley. I forgot. Now it might be a different name. There's a name of a street that is off of Maple Street that Joe DeMoro lives on, and street and houses off of that with foreign and domestic military involved with this. You know, in other words, and so these are gun crimes also with my new and past neighbors, with state police and foreign and domestic police and military recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Again, with judges involved with racketeering, with real estate companies, and with Heather Hansen, and with people on Church Street involved with a whole bunch of houses on Church Street are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering, with the judges, with their uses of the real estate racketeering they're involved with, and with the sexual circles, with the identity theft clicks. There were a whole bunch of people tied to a Detective Samuda who pretended he was an arresting officer of me, who also has him recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with drugs racketeering and with medical campuses. He pretended I was in a medical campus and he was a steward of me. In other words, and with other Hartford Hospital, they forced me 3 times into a triage. First time 3 days, 2 times they put me there for a month. They attached me to fake conversations with doctors just because I was in the location. They're forging names, switching names, and with various natures of courts criminally involved here. Judges, their family members are also racketeering leading up to and in those contexts. Now, they brought up the name Chet Casper, who's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering use of journalism teaching and stewards with involved with journalism racketeering with the branches of government, with the styles of liars pretending they're truth tellers, with the crime method of pretending mandated laws means ask someone else what to do. And lie about what people actually talk about when they report things. So now they're involved further and further. Now they're needing to value out of sequence things they have that tell which how much credibility to give to each person's thing. Now these are people also involved with racketeering methods this way. Force sustained every year of my life. I can't get one counter to it. Each campus I went to, even the people that didn't go to that campus, were recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with the racketeering acts on off them. And these are people I don't know, and they acted like I knew them out of sequence with crime methods recorded in the past, criminal uses of the theater with all the involved with like a Gold family, former Mayor Gold, other mayors were standing and retired, involved with the other natures of police forms, former director of the FBI down, racketeering with them, with an officer Magnanos, also recorded and confessed and demonstrated involved with human trafficking with a Detective Samuda, who attached me and little kids to fake locations, fake ties to doctors through time, with media too, with the judges involved criminally, because they're all their courts, their prosecutors, their state's attorneys already involved with racketeering with a whole bunch of people from my town. Racketeering acts and methods recorded, actually recorded natures as criminal insidious natures tied to predicate acts and whole predicate act methods. So now I'm not just when you try to talk about nature, we have lawyers recorded involved also used criminally. There are private lawyers that are an option when they're preventing you means to get a regular lawyer in time and stuff like that. All kinds of racketeering with wire and with the rules and laws and the wording of them, where they leave out the sequence shifts in the racketeering acts and uses of those statutes criminally, the wording, because they're preventing free speech while they're attaching everyone to fake speech and fake behavior and fake ties to themselves and to their family members. We have some real sick foreign and domestic doctors and crime methods and actually recorded natures of judges really sick and pretended like Judge Killian. He's with sequence racketeering with other natures of courts in his own court involved with racketeering since before that. But so we need them from the names forging and switching and to take a position on paper, which means, they're sequence racketeering. They just write something on paper and then say, oh, we wrote on paper, but criminally. They're preventing their premises. There's no. They're forging names, switching names, falsified police reports. The branches of government individually grouped and together, originally and still. Again, they also have women with the Coast Guard involved with their family members, with medical racketeering on the Church Street, also with overt criminal enterprises and intercampuses database racketeering roles with people on Church Street, all the way up there to CCSU, reported also with crimes with Russians, with Cuban families. With involved with Hartford Hospital. We have other nations like Pakistan involved racketeering with them, also with mobile gas stations on South State Highway. They sought me out before I went there to confirm, confess, and demonstrate. I didn't know they made confessions early about where you can't connect till after, but it's connected to others. They also have, so don't pretend that people didn't confess with it. That is also recorded. So I'm trying not to report anything. I'm not trying to report anything debatable. And where they're trying to say what I say is debatable, they're recorded lying. They're recorded racketeering methods right there. That's evidence. Have them pick one name and sequence into branch. There are further gun crimes and are further threats on the kids coming. That's recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by people tied to Officer Jerry Miller and Weathersfield Police Chief, and retired and standing with this Dillon family involved with detectives and a whole bunch of drug cliques associated with him with untimely deaths on and off Trinity College, with other natures of racketeering and tied to that with my new and past neighbors, involved with them also with judges, crimes with real estate and with investigations in the past, like with ones tied to a Lena's Pizza, Park Street Tiki Lounge, involved with racketeering with agencies, foreign and domestic. They're also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated people on Hangdog Lane involved with identity thefts, fake conversations, fake ties to me, all exceptions criminally exploited. Those are also people involved with racketeering with Weathersfield Pizza, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated also with racketeering with other houses on Two Route Highway on off Hangog Lane. Now, these are also people with agencies, various natures of agencies with the Weathersfield Police, with racketeering uses of corners of schools, and with racketeering uses of other people's names. Excuse me. So there's a Canisius, and there's a Kevin Canisius, and I believe Dana Canisius, or something like that, associated with CCSU, also with racketeering with state police and with their family members, and with FBI cliques, and with CIA and their family members, on also further on off of principal sex offenders campus, and people associated with Jennifer Kennepicky and her mother were recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with the racketeering with houses on with the intelligence community, with medical racketeering, and with a Mayano family, also recorded with racketeering with WFSB and with New Britain Superior Court, and with other sexual circles involved with database racketeering when they were kids, which is actually recorded. Now, these are also people with racketeering roles with Washington, D.C., and with the Trade Center through time. Now, these are also people preventing people from meeting the other sex by their racketeering, by the identity racketeering, identity thefts, attach everyone to fake conversations. Now they have the standing used. They have this worse than intercities connected. They have They have beach locations. They have interstate locations. Anywhere someone's gonna interact with people, they have means keeping everything, where they can keep people in trouble, criminally, and use the Justice Department as a racketeering method tool, originally still as a human fact treatment nature breaching racketeering tool. So we have physical delusions and we have criminal foreign influences juxtaposed, self-valued, when they ask any kind of questions asked about our American history. And we have free speech prevented offensively from demonstrating this because of how they invested all these people involved with this Casper family and with this Leahy family and with the other people, with this Charlie Bowes, with identity theft, fake ties to me. Now, there's also recorded Edward Poland involved with police officers criminally. But I don't know him, and they have their kids involved here criminally. I don't know these people. Why don't you have one of them pick a name and sequence into branch and respond? Who denies this? That's the question, because that's recorded true always. They don't have a means to deny this, but criminally. So have them pick one name and sequence while they're getting down. I'll gather around. Now, they're preventing mandated law also as recorded criminal uses of the sensibilities of interreligious cliques, how used for, everyone's lying and self-valuing it. Also, that's involved with a O'Brien family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with Sandy Hook, Newtown, with other families tied to Weathersfield, and with the principal sex offenders campus were involved with them with racketeering like a La Fanza family, a Gold family involved with racketeering through administrations on off the state judicial branch offices, on and off the state prison offices, also with families involved with racketeering with databases when I was a kid, involved with the police forms retired and standing, involved with the houses in my area they used criminally. And those people won't deny it if you ask them the right way and the right questions. See, they need to have, they're coaching people's sensibilities in relationship to their fact treatment nature racketeering methods. For example, pretending to be against hate speech. They are recorded pretending to be against hate speech criminally as part of their crime methods, recorded involved with their sexual abuses and medical abuses of kids, and attaching them to fake locations through time. So note those roles with New Britain Superior Court, other natures of court, with human trafficking, and with criminal uses of the sensibilities of whether they train on and off Yale College, they call law, and UConn. That's not law. You guys are also involved with racketeering with the shared policing of our stores and with DACA. And there's a on the border place next to a Dakota place that's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with a whole bunch of racketeering roles with people on and off CCSU through time. With the training of state police used to keep them criminally foreign influenced originally, and still recorded how effectively is recorded. All we need is recorded. We need free speech. We need free speech now. And we need them to stop the forging names and switching names into branch to fake it while they're using databases for racketeering, as they did, as they were roles as victims, predators associated with it when they were in grammar school, like the women prosecutors involved criminally with the judges, women judges involved racketeering with really creeps tied to the friends of my neighbor involved with sequence shifts with their whole groups, with whole like pretend I knew them years before I did. For example, all kinds of natures of sequence shifts. So we also have a whole bunch of other gun places and roles with that, with the narratives, with the gun legislation involved with the other juxtaposed but recorded natures of gun crimes associated with and as ones from Wethersfield involved with racketeering uses of the north end of Hartford and through CCSU. And tied to that narrative where they bring a couple people into college and show them jobs that are only that are through criminally foreign influence jobs. In other words, with a whole bunch of people tied to Lawrence Clay with the Olympics. I never had a conversation with in my life. The Olympics is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Also involved with natures, a whole bunch of natures of medical racketeering and justice racketeering with people tied to. In other words, a whole bunch of people tied to this Lawrence Clay recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Also like tied to also confessed, recorded, and demonstrated. They had conversations with and or ties to Johnny Duke and other boxing gyms with racketeering roles with the cliques from Sandy Hook, Newtown, who are involved with the racketeering roles with the on-off campuses location in my town through time. I just remind. So there is in other words, there are a whole bunch of people like I never had a conversation with like a John Laurie on new and other houses on and near that corner on Hang Dog Lane, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with a Mayao Siam Faglione group, with a Leahy family and other drug cliques, medical drug cliques, like and crime cliques and overt gangs drug cliques, and mushrooms, all that used to keep the kids, and qualities of pot used to keep the kids racketeering roles with the courts, identity theft racketeering. There's also a I don't even remember the names of the kids. Most of them, a whole bunch of people tied to Sal Saviello were involved with this, which is also the house across the street for them, or recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering with a Fianza family on and off, with also with houses on and off the state judicial branch offices in intercities like Newington involved with them, and with on and off Fox Connecticut News involved with a whole bunch of racketeering with police forms with them, and with WFSB racketeering acts. Now they're preventing racketeering acts from being reported because they're being coached to it by their sources interbranch. That WFSB is also recorded with other media, recorded consciously racketeering roles with, and uses of need to hide it, per uses of men and women associated with the policing of and the training of the policing of such on off parks in Wethersfield tied to the racketeering on and off the campuses of each age, intercities in Connecticut and interstates, with the same ones involved with tied racketeering acts. Again, with Battiston's dry cleaners, with the schools across the street from it, involved with them with racketeering, also with their extended family members, with the family that has with a Colo family who also has a Phil Colo, and themselves involved with racketeering with child sex offenders, also with forensics cliques, and with state police with that, and their daughters and families involved through time, involved racketeering with CCSU, with other ages of campuses. Again, these are a whole bunch of people from my town involved with racketeering uses of the Lanza family and of Sandy Hook, Newtown databases for their roles with other natures of racketeering, gun crimes, drug crimes, identity racketeering, evidence racketeering crimes. These are people also with racketeering recorded through time on off the state judicial branch, with houses next to it, people next to it, involved with racketeering with databases, vertical and horizontal, at the campuses I went to. Also involved with two speech teachers I had with in high school, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering roles with by associated with a Dillon family and his ties to houses in my area involved with racketeering with him, with foreign and domestic military to overt criminal enterprises, criminal uses of the witness protection program as people with the crime acts with the witness protection, with the overt criminal enterprises. Also identity theft, a whole bunch of people with the name Joshua Julian, Joshua Stryker, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with identity racketeering thefts, forging names, switching names of deans, involved with the judges, forging names, switching names with child sex offenders, and with the Wethersfield police, forging names, switching names, confessing that. They also made confessions tied to this interbranch to me and my family members and to others. Now they're preventing a response. They're forcing. Now they use the crime method too. When I bring this up, they say things to my mother. They're recorded threatening my mother. They're recorded threatening my mother, not torturing her, lying about their racketeering acts with people my father beat in an LRB case, for example, that are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with identity thefts, racketeering acts against me and against a whole bunch of people with them. Identity thefts, whole they fake recorded things through time already. Now there's a Robert, no, what's his name? Mike Roberts and a Mike Pandolf and an Eric Jensen are also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with racketeering with houses in my area involved with former director of FBI, with people involved with him criminally with other FBI. With other investigators of things, the whole investigations recorded used criminally. We have whole counter like criminal justice corruption counters. See them standing outside of the places today, pretending to be against stuff. They can't counter that, and they're just standing outside while they're Congress people because already they're involved with racketeering with private, all tied into branch. Every day when they go in court, they're already involved with those courts already having been used sickly. Each individual of the branches of government originally installed are sick predators. Now, this is how this is tied to the vertical and horizontal database racketeering and uses of the campus is actually recorded. As further men and women I don't know the names of, with the forging names and switching names, racketeering methods and uses of Trinity College, with the Joshua Stryker and the Dean Alford, and or who used his names and pretended to be him, with the on-off campuses. He had a mustache. I don't know if it's real. What now? Involved with on-off campuses, confessions, demonstrations, or his racketeering roles with drug cliques, and that are also involved with when people get caught, real or made up, who are involved with their probation officers, also involved with racketeering uses of town offices in Wethersfield through time, with the ones with the judges retired and standing, prosecutors retired and standing, and state's attorneys retired and standing, people with all the different jobs of the identities of each branch are recorded sickly, distinctly, and non-distinctly, having been exploited already criminally and having self-valued that. Now that's a problem too with their value treatments regarding online algorithms, impositions to those online platforms that are used. They're exploiting they're preventing people from countering branches of government using online platforms like Facebook to force sustained racketeering of juxtaposed natures against each age of fact-shaping nature, because then they exploit that. Then you can't stop what they use the confessions for preemptively. That no one's going to understand. So respond, because there are more recorded, confessed, and demonstrated gun crimes, and these are people that would have prevented crimes too, involved with the racketeering uses of the Lanza family. Also, all kinds of medical racketeering with them, involved with a Soto family. I also never had a conversation with, but they're also recorded, confessed, and involved with the racketeering with the people around the park in Wethersfield, Connecticut. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Also involved with racketeering uses of WFSB, of WTNH, Fox Connecticut News, and on off their locations. And they're hiding their live progressions for how they played softball together, pretending for legitimate reasons when they use that for racketeering. Now, these are also people with on off the voting spots next to it. So someone please respond. Mr. Lewis, Congressman Lewis, please get me a response. Please get these coward judges to one name in sequence. Please allow a demonstration of how they use women for crimes with child offenders, with acting through girls when they're little girls, exploited, how it's exploited and related to databases. And let's get demonstration, because a whole bunch of houses on my street are involved with racketeering with people from my age I never had anything to do with. I used to hang around with from my grade, involved with identity, a whole bunch of natures racketeering with them, with the new and past police chief from my town past years ago, involved with that same house in house/S in the area, involved with racketeering. Pattern confessions since I was a kid. They demonstrate how they use that criminally for vertical and horizontal database racketeering. So now that's relevant to what I'm trying to report now, which is recorded sequential, inherent, active, and progressive and worse identity racketeering rules with the people making opinions. Uses of CNN for racketeering again, child offenders, people pretending to be against such, but by pretending emotions and passions, and preventing anything in writing, preventing any response, preventing any kind of verbal communications, because they're recorded. The Wethersfield police are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. If I try to report what's actually recorded, they're going to forge names and switch names further. They're going to further make up fake relationships to me and to other. Now, so we have further racketeering uses of each age effect, treatment nature already recorded, and you're going to see that when you get me a response. So please don't be a coward with the rest of the government still. Congressman Lewis, originally and still, you guys left, you guys left integrity from those spots, and you guys left free speech non-existent and offensively tortured and prevented, not threatened. They're online threatening me right now. If they're in the background, they're worse than threatening. They're online right in the background right now, needing to lie when I speak. She must break and leak. Now, these are also people with racketeering uses of the state judicial branch offices, Congressman Lewis. I'm asking you because I asked Connecticut through time, and they've been lying in the background because they had interbranch. Even Congressman Larson, I never had a conversation with his son. I explained or with his relative, with the Larson family. Associate recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with racketeering with a domain family, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering uses of him. I never had a conversation with him in my life, and you know, I never had any differences with anything like that. He's recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. Also, there was a Miss Riley who was my that was my algebra class. Those are also people with the mobile gas stations at the corner of Town Line Drive and on South Steen Highway, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with racketeering, also with Pakistani families, and with this Dillon family, with my new and past neighbors, involved with racketeering with judges, with real estate companies, and with this Hanson family, a whole bunch of people tied to her, with women involved with racketeering on and off Trinity College, on and off CSU, attaching little boys and men and women, little girls, to fake locations, fake ties to others, lying to them about their family members. Again, attaching them to fake locations, ties to themselves, fake words, fake sequence natures of relationships to themselves and to their sexual circles, also criminally exploited with that. Also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with what is it called? The Central Intelligence Agency, FBI, associated with this, with medical racketeering, with this Lori family. I don't know, but with the Kevin Canisalis and his sister involved with CCSU, people that recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. They have them used for racketeering too. I never had any conversation with them, especially on these campuses. I never had anything to do with them. I explained that kid was in my Kevin Canisalis was in my 6th grade class. I never had anything to do with him. There's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with racketeering that was already recorded in the databases, and with that former Mayor Gold's family, involved also with a whole bunch of people that made confessions about a Chet Casper and about some brothers in a Lance Cuddy, brothers of a Lance Cuddy, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with racketeering with some forensics tied clicks through time. Also, further with the child sex offenders and foreign and domestic medical families and ones with badges, also associated with locations around the end of Town Line Drive and with the shared policing of stores. and with the shared employments of stores and uses of the narratives of unions because they're fake positive and that's self-valued originally still. In other words, they're racketeering roles with with the branches of government. Get them done. Boxing is fun. So now this is what forgiveness is for and why and how they have no forgiveness. The branches of government. They're also recorded and confessed and demonstrated involved with a whole bunch of natures of racketeering with people from East Hartford, tied to the courts privately and indirectly, all those locations, like on and off that um they're building planes, on and off the stripper joint there, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with involved with racketeering with UPS and with people from on and off the state judicial branch offices racketeering with them. Since before I went to work there, they recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed about it. Further, these are people involved with racketeering with this Justin Gavinskis I've never had a conversation with, and with the women I don't know the names of who are involved with the sexual circles. And then they exploited that with their uses of Trinity College from off campuses. Then they're forging names, switching names, having police officers forge names, switch names, pretend their name is Darth Vader. This is also racketeering uses of how they converted the on-campuses police to on-off campuses police police headquarters uses of them, and their family members recorded how used criminally. Family members of everyone trying to perceive things when they needed to hide lies, progressions, and their actually recorded natures at the same time. They needed to value, hurt each age of fact treatment nature. We also have the various ages of prisons like intercities involved with the racketeering with the ones on with the houses on and off the state prison offices, also again on and off the state judicial branch offices involved with racketeering, also with people along routes, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated a whole bunch of ways criminally involved, a whole bunch of sick natures of things and ways, all the way leading up to CCSU. On and off Paul Manafort Drive was also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated used as a value by the media involved with racketeering with Russians leading up to and in the Trade Center attack context and since, with further predicate acts, Trade Center attack predicate acts associated with the investigators of it, also involved with racketeering uses of Hartford Hospital and of other other hospitals on the intercity in that city and other cities, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the racketeering here. Also with the locations on offer there, like there's a Demorrow's Market. It's now in Rocky Hill. There are locations next to them. They're involved through time with racketeering uses of the town of the libraries, intercities, Weathersfield Library, the Rocky Hill Library, CCSU's library, used for racketeering, also by racketeering acts roles with people on Trinity College campuses, uses of their library, with recorded and confessed and demonstrated racketeering and other natures of crime acts roles with officers from off campuses. So this is from off campuses to sustain racketeering roles and uses of them. So we don't have free speech. I'm going to demonstrate to you what sick beasts pretend they're about positive in relationship to all the nature's imposition on suburbs throughout this country, let alone urban areas. New York City was forced to by a racketeering method to unfold as a pathology of infrastructure and of valued exploitation of the human fact treatment nature in layers. So these are Trade Center predicate acts clicks. Acts, uses of Facebook also for Trade Center racketeering, uses of online policing interbranch, uses of their uses, the branches of government are recorded uses of Facebook for human trafficking. Also with the news racketeering involved with elections crimes, voting crimes, election spots crimes, all kinds of natures of racketeering. Come on, Lewis. Come on, Congressman Lewis. You know, search your soul. You know they're fake originally and still. How could anyone pretend that anyone spoke properly about the racketeering method that American history is really about? How could anyone pretend that anyone ever had legal representation, let alone how sickly? How could anyone pretend that they're trying to fight for equality? We're not supposed to be equal. We're not supposed to be unequal. We're supposed to see what's going to evolve or not. We're supposed to see how we're distinct and non-distinct, because one nature of relationship to itself that is distinct and non-distinct is a demonstration of itself this way, which is going to cause positive or negative value nature progressions, acts and natures, evolutions, fruits and gifts, or their loss, forced space nature transfer, lethal of Hadith. Now, I didn't read that's what lethal of Hadith means. I deduced this and revealed this using evidence reception methods better than theirs, because those are recorded self-valuing physical delusions and criminally foreign influenced sciences and styles of fact treatment nature respecting that. Worse than respecting that, sickly. Everyone's recorded needing to debate about debatable, which is not even debatable if you follow mandated law. They're lying about what mandated law is. They're pretending it means ask someone next to you. Now, these are criminal uses of when things play out like this. Like there's a whole bunch of people with CCSU when I was in grammar school, also involved with an O'Brien family, also with the Newtown Sandy Hook and training of the stewardships of prisons, involved with the training of the state police with racketeering roles with it, also with the training of the educational department uses with their family members, their extended family members, a number of them, and their sexual circles involved with racketeering, further with the principal sex offenders campus through time. And one of those people involved with that is the daughter of the principal when I was there, who I barely know of. And she's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated through time racketeering with houses on that street of the principal sex offenders, and they were self-valuing it. They were recorded self-valuing the racketeering role. They used Governor Malloy recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, used with a town meeting behind my back with WFSB attached me and others to fake locations, fake words, fake natures of relationship to others, criminal and lies about our behavior, and sequence shifts with that. These are also gun crimes, drugs, bug spray, other natures of poison crime roles, and uses of body dumping spots, overtly criminal and otherwise, and uses of the rights to tell lies and the rights to give fake news in statutes used criminally because the Stoll statutes also know exceptions that they are preventing demonstration of the criminal exploitation of them. So let's get a response too for the people with Old Space Saybrook, while you guys are making it worse, hiding and lying and plotting and pretending to investigate things criminally. Where does the Lanza family live? Please respond, because you have further people involved with Sandy Hook, Newtown, and online. There's a Thomas Potter recorded, confessed, demonstrated, also involved with a Mr. Potter who used to teach at the Southstein Middle School, who's involved with racketeering with a whole bunch of people with like Russian families associated with him, with racketeering on all Fox Connecticut News and with the buildings next to them, with medical racketeering with them, with identity thefts, fake conversations with me, the roles placed me to fake locations, fake conversations with them in the past. Also, two Mendez police with that, interbranch, forging names, criminal uses of police equipment with child sex offenders, and with forging names, switching names, pretended conversations with me to hide it, and with judges, even female judges, and recorded racketeering roles with it, with interbranch drug clicks, forging names, stealing people's identities, attaching me and others to fake words and behavior through time, making confessions as threats and torture methods. These are also people that are recorded, confessed, demonstrated racketeering acts roles with the Leahy family and with other medical families that are associated with federal criminal code defendants of Robert Luskin, former standing chairperson on Racketeering Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act, former standing chairperson on organized crime law statutes, who is also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the racketeering with CCSU and Trinity College, as the ones further involved with the racketeering with the principal sex offenders campus and uses of the Coast Guard, men and women, uses of the value of men and women, where they're all needed to pretend integrity. So that's where they all value everyone doesn't think and lets others think for them, and then they hide how that's exploited. Originally and still, we have obligations by free speech, prevented free speech. You guys worse than have racketeering rules with areas where there are a lot of shootings. All kinds of natures of racketeering, medical. You guys have physical delusions. Congress, please, Mr. Lewis, you could be bigger than them. I know you can. Please give up those judges' names. Get them to one name in sequence. Don't do me any favors. You're hurting me, wasting time. I asked you a long time ago. I don't know if you saw online. Let's go. We don't have time for these people are plotting in the background. They use the court when they force people into court. They're going to lie. They're going to prevent your free speech. They're going to switch names, forge names, and pretend things recorded into databases and exploit that recorded standing now, waiting for that. Let's go. Mr. Lewis, we don't have time. Right through administrations and lay ages, they played this game with color. They played this game with each. Now one must teach. I'll break them here in cold. CTU drop. Fake branches fall. Get them to one name in sequence. What's the name of the sister of this Czech Casper? And what's the name of it? Is that a Mogman? There's a Mogman family as one of the names brought up. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right family, but there's men and women associated with racketeering with judges, and I don't know if there's state judicial branch offices and all along that route that goes by it, and with locations in Rocky Hill also, and with I don't know if where Arch Pizza was recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with DACA and with a soul or whatever, where was a soul place near Yale College, and with a taekwondo place across from the Wethersfield Police Department, involved with racketeering with military, police, foreign, and domestic, also with color and with color, we wear pigment and with pigmented family member actors and family members and ones with KKK Confederate flag theme racketeering with and as the sources of CCSU recorded criminally pretending to be against such with child sex offenders forced at first and further by their racketeering, also with election spots clicks and with criminal uses of probation officers also involved with the racketeering here, because they're and the alternatives to prison, which those prisons are also again recorded and involved also with racketeering tied to the ones in my house in my area with the on and off the state judicial branch offices, like a Cuddy family recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the Tom DiCiaccio, and I forgot his sister's name. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by ties to him, like a Ray Cololo, who's the one with the cousins involved and friends involved with them with vertical and horizontal database racketeering and racketeering roles with the policing, shared policing of locations and training of that foreign and domestic shared sick. CT is stick. So we have all kinds of pseudo-positive treatment natures. We have positive as a science. See, but we have the science of keeping criminal insidiousness natures of positive self-value as a racketeering method roles recorded. Please follow the law, Mr. Lewis. Connecticut interbranch actors and their family members were asked through administrations, and they worse than failed to follow mandated law and to follow morality actual. And they were recorded pretending morality. And I don't know what it is through time, but I hope there's a whole bunch of pattern of racketeering of people that try to walk by you and pretend things, and then they pretend they know you later. All exceptions criminally exploited and offensively and through time. So don't pretend if they want to pretend something like, oh, why is he holding on to the past? I'm trying to report now. I've been trying to report this since I was a kid. This is leading up to the Trade Center attack context in it, criminal uses of Saudis. The ones who attacked us and the ones who are pretending, the ones who don't even realize their roles because they just use people in relationship to the defenses of industry positions. West Farms Mall involved with them, with a whole bunch of Saudi family. I don't know the names of them. Saudi police forms involved with Pakistani, Italian, a whole bunch of people tied to the Schooler family involved with racketeering uses of West Farms Mall and of locations on and off them, and the shared policing. Again, we're training the state police, criminally foreign influence, training the FBI originally, still criminally foreign influence delusions raw. The CIA recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with their family members with identity thefts, fake conversations with people, categorically onto Facebook too, so they can pretend to perceive things. Uses of Facebook pages, interbranch and medical ones for racketeering with child sex offenders. Let's get these cowards to one name and sequence, and the doctors tied to them because they forge names and switch names, various natures of courts already racketeering together, actually recorded, already racketeering uses of their own kids, actually recorded, as the prosecutors too, recorded really sick, intercities, interstates, again, originally still. We have sick people with our private, all interbranch, sick people. You see what they reported about how they tested things, especially if they made it up. How they tested a bomb by having a whole bunch of people stand out there. They have a whole bunch of other natures of medical racketeering also with psychology that has bled into the other natures of departments, and people, their physical delusions enter departments of each nature of campus, each science. I'm not even a doctor. I'll delineate the delusions from their criminal foreign influence and crime methods actually recorded. Nature's actually recorded. Let's go, because we have the campuses in town and houses next to them involved with the racketeering acts. I'm not trying to debate. I'm not trying to debate debatable, especially out of sequence, and forced to ignore sequence shifts. That's part of the racketeering here. We have women who are bullies, who are raised intimately connected with people that were trained to act. Right at this time, you act, and when they're going to come around, they're going to see this. I don't even know their names now. Those are men and women involved with Trinity College, with their family members, with the intelligence community, with CCSU, with the intelligence community, with Johnson and Wales and Rhode Island, involved with the intelligence community, with racketeering, with state police, intercities, interstates, racketeering uses of them and their family members, kept needing to hide. There's also people with the name Olson, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering uses of Trinity College and CCSU, and as ones involved with racketeering uses of this Potter family, and of others involved with prosecutors with this Pandolf family, and others around his house, and that's around the Samuel Dix house, which is right next to the middle school and high school, and that's along that route that goes by. That's right next to the route that goes right by up to Central. From here, involved with them with racketeering, with people on off, a whole bunch of people on Church Street in Old Wethersfield, recorded, confessed, demonstrated. And those confessions are from strangers in the past too, and people forced me to know because they were in a middle school, summer school class with me. Also, a kid could barely read, barely write. Then, what's his name? Rick Cianfaglione, this Joe DeMoro. They're like half retarded, and they didn't have Rick Cianfaglione in that thing. This is the guy who stole my poem too. This Mr. Neville. That was also where he was. In other words, there was racketeering for them having me even going to a summer school class when I was in middle school. And that's involved with the people that are at Trinity College, recorded, confessed, demonstrated from my town that I don't know, but that they walked up to me when I walk. They know I'm going to walk from this location, and I don't even know who they are. This is a racketeering method. Now, these are also racketeering uses of white and black hate groups and theater cliques that are involved with sequence racketeering and database racketeering through time, again, with Wethersfield schools, recorded actually. Now, who believes this? Get one coward to pick one name in sequence. They're forging names, switching names, even switching the spellings of it. They're recorded using for Facebook for all kinds of natures of medical racketeering. Let's go. Let's get these coward judges done. Get a response for this Judge Killian too, saying things into records, recording after he's already recorded involved with racketeering. So he's already recorded involved with racketeering and with physical delusions. Then he says lies into the databases afterwards. That's what courts do. They say things into records after they also already recorded other as reality. Now these are also with them forging names and switching names, and that's also communicated. So these are people using words like say and communicate criminally. Now, these are, again, criminal uses of each of the identities of the departments at CCSU, like the communications department, also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated criminally involved here, criminally having been exploited for the trade center racketeering. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 3 score and 6. See, we have 1,190. We have 1,095 days in 3 years. That's connected to Trinity, and we are constantly more and more value as 5 semi-natures, as an identity of 5 semi-natures, making more and more value that is positive to what is the value of 1,100 per algebraic consciousness algebra, and per where and how value is nature and nature is value simultaneously, distinctly and non-distinctly. So 1 is nature as value, and 0 is nature as nature. And value's nature is before, while, being, and beyond that value, as what is causing 3 natures of volume, 3 natures of 0 to only increase as value by one value. More and more forever nature, more and more infinity nature is being made. Many pray. It says, dearly beloved, deaf bread reads, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give peace unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. See, we also have people recorded, confessed, and demonstrated pretending people want revenge as a racketeering method to pretend to realize that the people don't not to realize that people are asking to report databases racketeering and uses of it. These are criminal uses of each of the identity of the ground locations, like boxing gyms. Recorded, confessed, and demonstrated also involved with racketeering with people from Sandy Hook, Newtown, and with the training of people, with the training of military, with the training of interbranch, with the training of police forms. That's why we have them 6 fake coward punks, and they can't even defend themselves without making things up about people. They were raised since they were kids, getting over on kids, on little boys and girls acting with time perfected, maintained, manifest uses of the identity of the ground locations, like whole suburbs. This is a theater where you're not going to see your neighbors every day. This is a theater where they know where you're going to walk when you leave a classroom, how far you're going to go, other people in your grade, where you leave your house. These are racketeering uses of each age of fact, treatment, nature, originally and still. Whole bunch of people tied to the Domoro family. Racketeering uses of CCSU with a whole bunch of people tied to them, like with also racketeering uses of Trinity College, with the child campuses and further sexual offenders, and racketeering rules with AT&T clicks. Also, as those involved with racketeering all along Church Street and all along Main Street, right up to CCSU, right through towns, and spots along that way involved with tied racketeering acts, roles with the narratives, as identity theft racketeering roles. Call through your souls, they're caught. So Congressman Lewis, please give me a response. Who denies anything I say or ever said to deny online, and or to send me a letter, because they're forging names, switching names. They're recorded using and confessed and demonstrated. They use the courts to force crime methods where they pretend things recorded into databases to hide their racketeering roles, even with child sex offenders still, right through administrations. No, Whole bunch of people with doctors tied to courts involved with their drug clicks, also with the qualities of weed involved with their racketeering with the kids. And with Congress, their uses of Congress recorded criminally used. For no, Deaf Breath says, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. They have cast fire into the sanctuary, and have defiled the casting down of the dwelling place of the name of the ground. So that's what I'm talking. I never read that, but I was talking about the identity of God. I realized this using science. See, we have the Bible and the Old Testament used for racketeering roles with interbranch fake positive natures, where they're evaluating the Quran and the Old Testament out of sequence as fake positive, as a fake, then their sensibilities defending themselves when they have physical delusions wrought. And then when you ask someone to try to respond, try to have it, when you try to demonstrate science towards the beginning of the Old Testament is about science. When you try to demonstrate how it's about that as the subject, they won't prevent. They're preventing demonstration of how it was, how what's actually recorded is that, and how they knew the messengers of modern religions, that their religious books would be used by everyone already victim predator styles of liars, because the campuses were already criminally foreign influenced. Human sciences were already denatured, tactically denatured. So everyone's a victim predator with faith, needed to figure out something. And this is about logic's actual course. We need to have free speech. We need to have our branches of government demonstrated criminally foreign influence and delusions wrought and exploited that way. We also have, there's a town like Hamden or something like that associated with a Hanson family through time involved with the intelligence community and with places like now we're involved with things like nuclear weapons. Then you have to maintain water and the identity of their grounds, relationship to water and needs for it, tactically denatured. Everyone's separated from that, self-valued that way. And then you have to hide all kinds of secret things, and you have to have a nature. You're involved with the negative value nature progression. And in other words, we have people involved with this whole bunch of people tied to this Casper family. I never had a conversation with, as people involved further on off racketeering all along that route that goes by the state judicial branch offices and all along other routes, like the one that goes as the ones involved with racketeering all along the route that goes to CCSU and spots all along that time. It may lie. Rick Cianfaglione also implied that his having gotten food poisoning at one of the locations along that road was tied to this. Well, it's tied to it anyways, because he's racketeering with the Britain Superior Court drug clicks and identity theft clicks, and with child sex offenders, and with people with racketeering where they spread lies and attach me to fake locations, fake ties to people. They spread lies through girls, through the influences of a Leahy family, who was also recorded and confessed to demonstrated racketeering with databases at the campuses I went to from the behind the scenes, and with his racketeering acts with former director of the FBI, and with his racketeering acts with people with uses of the name Robert Mueller and of Comey, and their racketeering uses of a video I deleted on YouTube, and then they put it back on. Now, I did this in relationship to their sequence racketeering and racketeering with child sex offenders, because they also used the Hillary Clinton campaign and actors. They've been using actors. They've been using, what's that guy's name who played Jake LaMotta, whatever, that guy, Robert De Niro, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with actual racketeering, with justice racketeering, with New York City. You don't see that Justice Department and that psychology needs to hide libel aggressions and self-value exploitations of what can't pretend it's about science and justify withstanding at the same time. Though those people stacking locations are only capable, and in conjunction with the intercampuses of each age, racketeering, each nature of it, fire departments, cliques, interstates with a Dave Smith, Jamie Smith, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated racketeering roles with foreign and domestic uses of online on and off town line drive, on and off stop and shop locations involved with racketeering with child sex offenders, with medical families, and with prison cliques, interbranch cliques involved with my new and past neighbors. As one of the houses slash S involved with the racketeering with Weathersfield police through time, with the long standing and the one past that had reportedly a girlfriend that lived in the house diagonally across from the backyard of the Smith's house, which is two houses over from me, the Claude house. Also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with a whole bunch of people with Newington police forms, also involved with racketeering. These are also foreign and domestic military, Navy, like Mexican Navy, involved with the racketeering Ray Collo has a father named Ray Collo. Now, there's also a grandfather named Ray Collo, but I think that's from his mother's side. Now, they're also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with the racketeering with the O'Brien family, further involved with Sandy Hook, Newtown, and with some forensic cliques and various natures of prisons and their stewardships, involved with racketeering also, again, through time, with CCSU training people of prisons, training people of state police in a way that keeps them criminally foreign influence and identity racketeering role. So we have military that are stealing people's identities. Now that's recorded simultaneously, recorded criminal uses of words like what do they call words like phrases like stolen valor. Now see, there are little military police rap mobs that want to be the identity of the military, but they're criminally foreign influence exploited that way. Involved with involved with military racketeering interstates. Hawaii tied to uses of on off the Weathersfield, um, with all the racketeering here, with both those eight, both the political parties were used criminally right through administrations, and them roles recorded. Physical delusions wrought, victim predators, fact treatment styles incapable of logic. Our leaders, they're victim predators. There is no justification for anyone's takes on what is it called? Even even in other words, what's the name of that? Jim Crow. Even President Obama made criminally foreign influenced and delusions raw value makes criminally foreign illusions and delusions raw value treatments if you ask him what Jim Crow was about. As shock and awe, as a victim, as us all. When you ask someone what Jim Crow was about, you're going to be a victim when you hear the answer, as we already were originally and still. This is about pseudoscience. The uses of what's his name? Jay-Z, rap. Rap means free speech, is about tied to free speech. Jay-Z is being used to pretend they're caring about overcoming with their recorded self-valuing Justice Department racketeering. Each identity that draw, especially identities of the law, they're recorded criminally foreign influence delusions raw. Racketeering with a whole bunch of psychology, medical racketeering, recorded self-valuing, negative value nature progressions, acts and natures, forced upon and forced from, blamed those people stacking locations, blamed on other things other than themselves. Fake sides, fake. We still don't have our trinity demonstrated. Each individual's complete nature of volume. Simultaneously, we are semi-nature. Not even debatable. That's why we have grouped areas, ages, sexes. That's why we have the species nature bond too. We are semi-nature, and that semi-nature is a further positive or negative value nature progression relationship to actually recorded by actual science, perfect value progression. And what forces it as more and more positive forever nature made here, or forced from here. Forever nature has caprician value too. This is not debatable, but with lies and delusions offensively. This is science. I'm not asking faith. This is the science that the Quran and that the Old Testament are about. Until we have free speech, until we have that defended, then we don't have anything but the Quran and the Old Testament used to keep nations individually grouped and together, self-valued roles, criminally foreign influence. Modern nations are an identity of negative value nature progression. That's why we have negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, not by accident, self-value, blamed on other things, others, themselves. We have really sick justice departments, roles, and people associated with it, like uses of words like corrections. These are people involved with identity racketeering, thefts, and torture. Corrections. They're trying to correct. These are news corrections needed had because CNN is involved with evidence racketeering. Now, this Bob Woodruff is also involved with racketeering with foreign and domestic, like associated with like nations like South Korea, North Korea. Thank God North Korea is cool. Thank God that person's not a psycho like you guys here and there and everywhere. You sick, fake suits and ties. Oh, he's a dictator. You guys are dictators. You guys are way worse than dictators. Pick one name in sequence while getting down. Oh, gather around. I need your family members' names too. And where's this Casper family live? And what's his sister's name? And get a response for him. Get a response for your cowards with the military, stealing my identity and evidence racketeering roles, and worse, with his little fakes like this Justin Levinsky. Lucinda, you don't know that he had you recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with his friends also involved with this vertical horizontal database racketeering. I heard you were talking about me behind my back when I was a kid. I don't know you. What were you doing walking by like that weird when I was jogging when you guys were near the Samuel Dick's house with that Russian kid there? Where there's also Russian families involved with them with medical racketeering and with racketeering with those houses with drugs. People pretending to know me behind my back to my family members and other people through time, and exploitations that I've recorded. Now, we have the forging names and switching names roles with judges and state's attorneys recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with that. Again, as people on and off Fox Connecticut News, on and off WFSB, involved with racketeering since they were kids, tied to that. Let's go. Then they put Nipsey Hussle painted on the building below the Fox Connecticut News, reportedly. Are they sick? That aims right where they have all kinds of shootings, drug racketeering, and uses of the exploited kids. Because each age of fact, human nature, each position of each nature of science from CCSU, for example, the educational departments involved with the racketeering distinctly and non-distinctly at the child campuses criminally involved and their family members. A whole bunch of people with the English department, distinctly and non-distinctly criminally involved, all with the people on Church Street and with the people involved with the Weathersfield police chief's racketeering with checks and vendors and with his own daughters used and with his extended family members involved with racketeering uses of the two bakeries on Franklin Avenue and associated with this tomorrow's market and with other places on off Hartford Hospital and other hospitals involved with racketeering with judges drugs and with foreign and domestic families like Cubans and things like that. Shared policing, shared training of policing, Mexican families, Puerto Rican families involved with racketeering with CCSU. Now, Sammy Vega's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with justice racketeering and with Washington, D.C., and with Trade Center racketeering associated with people involved with WFSB racketeering acts and roles with uses of a Mayano family, also for sequence shifts and attaching me to fake locations and natures of relationships to them through time. Sequence shifts where they have roles with people in my grade when I didn't even know them. I just heard his name repeated. That's how I remembered it when he first came and begged me to let him drive me to school. Right when my car broke, again, my engine seized again. I think they were putting something in my engine too. Because how did he know I was going to walk out the driveway that time too? Like right at that moment, right before the bus comes. He's also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with the racketeering acts with New Britain Superior Court, with sexual circles associated with him, and with a whole bunch of people intercities, with him and his family members, on and off the Berlin Turnpike, the end of the Berlin Turnpike, involved with racketeering with them. There's a little construction place before when you get to that, but the spots at the end of the Berlin Turnpike also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with them racketeering, and with the people with the Stop and Shops in their cities and all along routes with them racketeering. And New Britain Superior Court prosecutors involved went to the. So give me a name in sequence, please, Mr. Lewis. Connecticut, we have cowards into branch. You have to see how women cowards hide how they are cowards. You have to see how men hide how they are cowards distinctly and non-distinctly. Hide how they are sick, fake punks. That's what's actually recorded. Have them pick one name in sequence into branch. Let's go. Former director of the FBI down. Let's get him! Because he's got further racketeering roles and uses of people associated with campuses in my town, having been used criminally involved further with the child campuses. Like there's a family named forget Lacanche. There's a Lacanche family recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with people with racketeering along routes and with identity theft with a Joe DeMoro and other Wethersfield police, with a Heather Hansen, with racketeering acts at CCSU and with Trinity College, and with uses of libraries at each age of the nature of libraries involved with them with racketeering. Also as racketeering with a whole bunch of people with UConn, and racketeering uses of lawyers to paint fake sides of fact-cheating natures, and racketeering uses of how they prevent people free speech, where they're controlling conversations criminally with physical delusions and with made-up evidences, and preventing anyone means from countering. They are recorded also using crime methods, pretending that they don't want people to control conversations legitimately when they know they do that criminally. They have physical delusions recorded involved with their also criminally foreign influence uses of evidence racketeering methods, like asking people to entertain hypotheticals. That's also recorded involved with the uses of, these are force sustained racketeering uses of interbranch family members that confess and record and pretend other at the same time. They're communicating other than they actually record. Like a Joshua Julian is recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with men and women interbranch and with the Coast Guard, and with intercampuses involved with racketeering with child sex offenders with him, and with media involved with it, covering the live aggressions. They made little girls cry. They have their family members involved with other natures of campus, like with West Hartford. There's a West Hartford teacher who has a kid who obviously, I guess, lives in our town, but she has a kid and has that campus in herself involved with racketeering uses of my name. She's also pretending to be against because I put a hashtag Sandy Hook. Now, these are recorded Sandy Hook families, Newtown families involved with her, with racketeering, with Wethersfield, and with West Hartford schools and other schools. Now, again, her name is O'Neill, too. Shaquille O'Neal. There's a lady named O'Neill with racketeering with Confederate flag themed and black women judges, black and white women judges involved with child sex offenders, the principal sex offenders campus, then and now further. And now these are people also a whole bunch of racketeering uses of Wethersfield Police Department through time with women who are judges and women who are also people, doctors, and also ones with badges who are involved with racketeering with child sex offenders because they need to hide their roles with evidence racketeering. They're needed to hide from what is actually recorded correlation nature's actual means. They needed to keep each age of fact-cheating nature hurt this way. Hear many pray. If you want it to be personal, people of Wethersfield, respond for your branches of government. Have them pick one name in sequence. They are recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. They use racketeering methods that use the method of forcing people to court criminally, forcing people the interactions with the police criminally so they can forge names, switch names, and attach us to fake recorded things. Two Mendes police and a whole bunch of police, again, on all Fox Connecticut News, are also as the ones involved with racketeering with the locations on off WFSB also, and their racketeering roles and uses of Wethersfield Parks recorded through time. Now that's also them pretending to perceive the passions and emotions of others involved with why we're trying to complain about such, because that's the only reason I know them in. And they can't pretend what they pretended to perceive there, and what they actually maybe tried to perceive is true, and put that on paper without demonstrating what was already recorded, confessed, and demonstrated before that. Like with the women involved with Trinity College and with CCSU from my town that I have nothing to do with. I don't barely know them, and not at all. And other was pretended into those databases. And this is right through. These are people since before the Trade Center attack with confessions regarding the criminal uses of courts by people associated with former director of the FBI, foreign and domestic military involved with racketeering with them, with depositions, with the deposition of the defendant, former director of the FBI, with racketeering leading up to and in the 2006 case and other cases criminally, as ones leading up to and in the Trade Center attack context criminally. A whole bunch of people tied with him with racketeering with that. They're keeping everyone who into jobs only if you're going to be a sick nature. Bees. Campus Marcius rises in these. So now you have men and women, male and female Congress people standing outside of places telling other nations that our nation makes people drink out of toilets, because those other nations are inclusion there and here with like psychology with the same racketeering methods that they don't let told on. They need to be fake sides. They can't pretend their integrity without pretending to be a contrast, blaming what's really causing negative value nature progressions, action nature on things other than self. So let's get a response and see renaissance. So I don't have to keep bringing people's names into it. They need that. That's how they're coaching and conforming people to this. Kevin Knislis, also a CM Faglione family, recorded, confessed to demonstrating you're involved with them with some prosecutors like a Brian Silver, associated with a Brian Silver and a Leahy family with racketeering acts against me and others, and with the principal sex offenders campus, and with wire crime, mail crime methods. And I can't get a response. And these are with various natures of courts and judges and their family members also involved with the racketeering, and with the FBI. After they used women involved with that criminal, like a Spada family, is also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by Eric Jensen, involved with houses in my area, involved with a Confederate flag theme, with undercover police forms, military involved, military, foreign, and domestic, with racketeering acts together, with identity racketeering together. What's the name of the people? And then these are people also racketeering with a Sammy Vega and people associated with lawyers private. There's a guy with a program called Mega Education, a lawyer who's recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering uses of the gyms in Connecticut and racketeering uses of him by courts that have been used. I never had a conversation with my life. He's also involved with a whole bunch of people tied to the racketeering with the cliques from my town, involved with criminal justice with them, and associated with a guy who used to be in the Olympics, Clayville. I never had a conversation with in my life. Him and people tied to the Luanda brothers, victims of the military, involved with racketeering, also with people on and off the state judicial branch offices, where they affect confessions and demonstrations of their ties to people from my past that pretended to know me, that had database racketeering roles in the past, with my new and past neighbors' ties and roles, also with their extended family members, again, with racketeering with the Trade Center, people that work there too. Racketeering uses of database, all kinds of illusions tied to that. Now there's some Pakistani medical families involved with the Phil Cololo, further involved with child sex offenders and with people associated with gas stations, like one like the corner of where Maple Street and that route and the street, and I believe off of that, a street off of that, I forgot, Elm Street, I believe, is the corner of Elm and Maple, is involved with a gas station, involved with a Ray Cololo and other people like a woman with the name Bobby, and recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with foreign and domestic police firms associated with East Hartford. Also with them through time with the racketeering, with the locations there. There used to be an Arch Pizza there. The locations next to it are involved with racketeering with people on and off the Wethersfield Police Office Department. They have a Taekwondo place with people next to it, also involved with racketeering, with foreign and domestic military racketeering, identity theft, stolen valor. As I I'm not even in the military, but these are people using phrases like that when you have sick rap mob punk fakes, but using little means to act because they have men and women interbranch valuing these racketeering game roles called Through Your Souls. So someone man up and let me demonstrate how they have women used as victim predators. Waste. You guys never stood up for you guys. They pretend not to be criminally foreign influence delusions rock by pretending to be about equality. Oh, we just want a fair shot. That's not wanting to be fair. You guys are preventing you guys are using each age of girls and boys to steal people to fake locations, fake words, and fake ties to other people. And you're keeping the same racketeering uses. They used DACA for racketeering then, that was used then for racketeering with the trade center attack, with with criminal uses of the cases next to it, of the court next to it, the Ninth Circuit. Forget about it. You guys have all kinds of interstate racketeering with Connecticut. Every position you guys have. Boxing. Don't be a coward, Mr. Lewis. I know you can be better than that. And all you people who have all that courage to just sacrifice your bodies to other people's thoughts, have some courage here where it counts. Let's get the judges to one name and sequence and down with the rest of the people. Oh, gather around!